Right. Yep, we on. What's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a pleasure having you in. I go by the name of L'Esprit, and what I do and who I am a spiritual healer. So technically, what I do is I assist others in becoming healed, in becoming whole. Meaning, and for you to do so, you would have to understand your emotional blockages and your intellectual, I guess, limitations. Pretty much, it's it's realigning your mind, body, and soul all together because ultimately it's one consciousness. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's what I do. That's what I talk about. Now, if you're coming back, you already know. You know what I'm saying. Let's just get a plate, motherfucker. Come get your medicine. All right. So today I kind of like wanted to talk about something that's a little bit different. I mean, it's not even different because pretty much everything we do in this world, okay, in this three-dimensional world that we're living in, it's pretty much the spirit expressing itself. So therefore, relationship is a big part of your spiritual journey. Do you see what I'm saying? So as a disclaimer, you have to understand, a relationship is not your life. It's just part of your life. Do you see what I'm saying? Meaning, okay, so if you get into a relationship, still you would still have to be the person that you are, even if you have kids. Let's just say kids, right? So you have kids, you're still gonna have to strive to be the best person that you can be, and I'm saying this to say, by becoming more of who you are, you still have to evolve. You still have to grow, you know, and I wanted to put this as a disclaimer, not so not so much in order for me to pretty much denigrate what relationship is comparing to your life, but most importantly is for you to see the bigger picture and to truly acknowledge, like a romantic relationship or anybody you're gonna be with. Do you see what I'm saying? So now, with that being said, so we what I'm saying, we take this out of the way, and I've talked about so many different, but anyway, let's just get right let's just get right into it. So what am I talking about here when we talk about, because you have to understand, when you're talking about relationship, you're talking about eventually what you're saying is the union of a masculine energy with a feminine energy. And it's important for you to understand. Of course, you do have your homosexual too, and I'm gonna touch on that too. I mean, because to me, I think the homosexuals, and that could be lesbian or gays, they reveal a very important thing about gender. Because what I'm talking about here, and here's something else too, I don't give a fuck. Like, we're not talking about dicks and pussy here. Do you see what I'm saying? Because a lot of people sometimes, what I realize, when they talking about relationship, they're really talking about dick and pussy. And I'll give you a perfect example. Let's just say, a lot of people define love with sex. I mean, they don't, or a relationship, somebody being faithful to you, or if somebody love you, they wouldn't fuck on you. Like, if you speak in that way, or if you see it that way, you pretty much looking at dick and pussy as love. That's not what I do here. You know what I'm saying? Now, I mean, you might want to elevate a little bit, obviously. Do you see what I'm saying? Just like sex. Sex is not a relationship. Sex is part of a relationship. It's another way of you to express whatever the fuck, how you feel, or that, what I'm saying, is the spirit. It's a spiritual shit. That's where you could have your sexual healing too. So to be stuck in just dick and pussy, or if you're defining what, good relationship is based on dick and pussy, I mean, hey, listen, you got me. Nigga, you got me. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's not what we're here for. So essentially what we're really talking about here is understanding, the masculine energy and the feminine energy and the importance of that. Because I realize, a lot of masculine energy doesn't really understand what the feminine energy is all about. And that's where the commotion comes in. There's a constant misunderstanding among all of us And I'm saying all of that too, since I'm talking about the masculine and feminine energy. I just don't want you guys to get it twisted. And I did mention something about gay people too, because the one thing that gay people, and I feel like is very important that they actually show us, is gender fucking roles and the importance of gender. For instance, right, in any gay relationship, I don't give a fuck if you're talking about gay guys or gay females. You're talking about same sex, right? There's always going to have to you always going to have a feminine and a masculine. I don't give a fuck if you want to call it a tomboy, and then you have what you call the more feminine one. Same thing with your fucking gay homosexuals. You can't, they're showing you even in same sex, gender role is very important. But most importantly, gender is very important. So when it comes to a romantic relationship, however the fuck you want to put it, you got to understand the genders, and genders got to play a role. Unless if you're just having a friend of like a platonic shit, then at that point it's not necessary. Obviously, that's what we call friends, right? Because there's no sex involved, there's no romance involved, there's none of that involved. But the minute we're trying to take it to that next level, you got to have your genders. Do you see what I'm saying? And the issue, I feel like a lot of people, when we're talking about relationship and all this shit, and that also is a big part of you, but most importantly, it is just a part of you, but not the whole you. And that's why the disclaimer, I wanted you guys to understand that. And why is that important? Well, it's first of all, when you understand that you're bigger than a relationship, and that doesn't mean, then it allows you to be better at it by you becoming a better version of yourself. Do you see what I'm saying? Because, a lot of the problems that people are having in fucking relationship, or the lack of communication, is the lack of maturity within either a masculine energy or a lack of maturity in the feminine energy. And when you have, and when you do have that, so there's the actual connection is just not going to work. But anyway, I'm saying all of that to say, so now you understand now, that relationship is just a part of you. Now, the part of you now, the other part of you, because the better you are, even as a parent, if you're a parent, you got to be the better person that you are, the better of a parent that you fucking gonna be. Do you see where I'm trying to go with this? But anyway, and that's why it was important for you to understand that the relationship you don't stop at a relationship. But in fact, by going beyond it, you actually have a better chance of having a better relationship. But most importantly, you got to do so as a spiritual healer. You got to understand, the gender role, the masculine energy and the feminine energy, and why is it important? Do you see what I'm saying? So, but another reason why I also wanted to talk about this, because I listen to everybody. I take what's needed, or sometimes I would transmute some sort of information. That's what being inspired is. Not necessarily get what they're talking about, but seeing beyond it. And like I always tell people too, everybody's doing God's work. It's just done in different levels. Do you see what I'm saying? Because ultimately, you're sharing something, you're helping people to get better, and you are trying to bring light to others. Regardless of how you want to look at it, or how controversial, the fucking topic could be, right? So, now hold up. So now let's get into the importance of understanding either the masculine energy or the feminine energy, because they complement each other. And if you don't understand, and I'm just gonna use myself, because a lot of us, what I'm seeing is that I'm seeing people criticizing instead of you know, shedding some understanding. And that's where you have the whole war between, like between the sexes. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's a lack of understanding. Do you see what I'm saying? So therefore, anything you don't understand, you're going to criticize it. That's just the way it goes. But when you have a better understanding of whatever the fuck you're gonna be talking about, I mean, you could still talk. You could still point. I mean, point out a few things about it without criticizing it, or and I'll give you a perfect example, right? So I've been listening this whole thing about people talking about, modern day women versus traditional women. Now I get what they're saying though, but the problem with this approach is that once you approach it that way, you tend not to see the feminine energy in it. Do you see what I'm saying? Because I don't give a fuck. Like women from, let's just say, from ancient time and women today, all the same fucking women. It's still the same fucking female, the feminine energy. Now the difference comes in the way they are being conditioned. See, like, but if you approaching it this way, so you already know, it gives you a better grip on trying to understand what's taking place. Instead of saying traditional women and modern day women, so what you're doing is you're creating a separation. And whenever you're becoming one-sided, you don't see the bigger picture. Meaning you're not gonna have a better understanding of whatever the fuck that you're talking about, or whatever the fuck you're looking at. Do you see what I'm saying? So, and the same thing for fucking men too. Like men back in the days are pretty much the same. I mean, not exactly the same, but again, essentially we're talking about a masculine energy. And of course, things have changed, so I get it. Trust me, I get it. Like I'll give you a perfect example. I know for me, at 16 years old, the man that I was, and my dad at 16 years old was not the same at all. But essentially, we are the same. So what we're talking about here is different eras, meaning different type of conditioning. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I was having, a healthy conversation with a brother, like where we were talking about, traditional women are less egotistical, and I talk about the ego too. But for the sake of this conversation, I'm not gonna get into that, right? So, but that's not the case at all. We're talking about different type of conditioning here. That's all it comes down to. So when you look at it this way, it allows you to, have a better understanding of, now we have to understand what the conditionings are. How are they being programmed? Do you see what I'm saying? And in so many words, and I believe that I have talked about that, the evolution of the masculine energy and also the evolution of the feminine energy. Do you see what I'm saying? Like the things that I did, like for instance, when I was 16, I had both of my ears pierced. You know what I'm saying? I was on my, pretty boy shit. I.e., another way of looking at it was me getting into my feminine side as well. Do you see what I'm saying? Because my dad wouldn't do that shit. I have a daughter and a son. I changed their diapers. My dad wasn't doing none of that shit. So therefore, there's a part of me, a feminine side of me, and granted too, let me talk about that too. So every masculine energy, like every person, whether you're male or female, you have both gender in you. You have the masculine energy and you also have the feminine energy in you. So when you look at the symbol of the yin and the yang, that's what they're talking about. But you'll see, on the dark side, there's a little white thing in it, and on the white side of it, there's a little black thing in it. That's what this is representing. So as a masculine man, I also have my feminine energy inside of me. Meaning, when we're talking about the feminine energy, we're talking about being nurturing. We're talking about creative. We're talking about, you know what I'm saying, have emotions. Yeah, yeah. Men have emotions too. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's all of that, right? And then on the flip side of that, people like to consider the feminine energy as being emotional, and that's where I'm gonna go with this too. As far as understanding the emotional intelligence in the feminine energy, and I feel like that's where a lot of masculine energy, based on what I've been watching, it's mostly criticizing instead of understanding. But anyway, so that's what you're seeing. So the evolution of the masculine energy, pretty much, now a man, even in the way we sing, our voices, we are growing our hair. You could see it. It's visible out there. You know what I'm saying? You have your home, stay home dad. You have guys like me and my son. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, I hug the motherfucker, I kiss him. That's my dude. Like, I show him that emotional shit too. You see what I'm saying? But I'm well balanced too. So I know what to do. But let's not make this about me, right? So we're talking about, most importantly, you identifying and understanding, in every person, when you, whether it is a feminine energy or a masculine energy, you have both inside of you. But now, what makes you a masculine energy? Because your core, you are mostly, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's mostly masculine, but you still have that femininity in you, and vice versa. You're mostly feminine, but you also have your masculinity in you. And the masculinity in you, like, we all see it. Now, women can think, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't generalize women anyway. You know what I'm saying? They play sports. They may not be as strong as the men, but they have the ability of doing so. It's in them. In fact, that's some of the problem that we're having now, is because they have activated that side of them and they are not balanced. So this is showing you in so many words, you can see it, that is there, but the lack of balance, that's what's creating the issue between the feminine and the masculine energy, what you would probably call nowadays. The issue in relationship nowadays, right? Because people are looking to somehow eradicate gender role, like gender don't matter. That's not true. It does matter. It does matter. In fact, there's an African saying that goes like this: if you educate a man, you have an educated man. But when you educate a woman, you have educated a whole fucking generation. Do you see what I'm saying? And in so many words too, that's that's the issue too. Now, if we want to get a little bit political here for just a second, or, I mean, not necessarily political, but let's just say, if we want to talk about the whole feminine energy, there's nothing feminine about it, because you're not telling me how important your job is. You're not showing me, how much in tune that you are with your feminine side. But what you're showing me is that, what a man is doing, you can do it too. That's why that type of movement doesn't represent the feminine energy. Anybody who's a mature masculine, like for me, there's nothing I want to do like a female. But I want to have a female, though. I don't want to act like you in no fucking way. I'm not watching soap opera for you. I'm not watching Lifetime for you. There's nothing about a female. I'm not wearing fucking bikinis. I'm not doing none of that shit for you. I'm in my element. I'm a mature masculine energy. And a mature feminine energy, you should be ill. Like, you should be gross when if you see another female trying to act like a man. You should be, if you are in touch with your femininity. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, because if you're fully in touch with your femininity, Just like you should be grossed. You should be grossed out. Like you want to play video games. What the fuck you trying to do? No. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, now I'm not saying that you don't have the ability to do so, but if that's not you, that's not you. Do you see what I'm saying? You know, that's why the whole feminine or feminist energy isn't really about femininity. Do you see what I'm saying? And I think there's a guy goes by the name Brother Panic. He says that shit like, you know, what you truly trying to do, you trying to be better men instead of better females. You know what I'm saying? You're not telling me how important you nurturing the community is. You're not telling me, you know what I'm saying, how vital how important your role is in your family. You raising kids. You're not telling me how important that is. If anybody were to put that down or trying to, you know, denigrate or trying to make it look lesser than, you should show me why it's not lesser than. Do you see what I'm saying? You should show me like how you're supporting your men and how your support now is making your men even better. And that's the feminine fucking energy. You're not talking about that. But instead, you know, you are creating that separation, right? And now, you know, you're just becoming two men. So the reality, so therefore it only makes sense when Steve Harvey now comes out with a book that says, think like a man, act like a lady. It's no wonder why this shit, it worked. It worked. In fact, let me just say this real quick, man. And I think I finally found the video too. I wanted to do sort of like a video where I could play it and talk about it at the same time. But then I'm like, I don't want to open up that, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to go that far. But if you Googled, I mean, not Google, if you YouTube 82-year-old marriage, whatever, in Steve Harvey, you'll get to see a couple, right? You know, that's been truly in love. And I know it when I see it. And I'm going to tell you how I know it too. And if you were to watch that YouTube video, oh my God, there's a lot of gems in it. And then Steve Harvey was asking her, you know, what's the key? And she was saying it's understanding. But that type of understanding and communication she was talking about is truly what I'm going to be talking about here. Truly understanding the differences, you know, and then you embrace it. But first you got to understand the differences, meaning you got to be the feminine energy. You got to stay on your lane and my man stand on his lane. And now we came together. That's how we become one. And that true understanding, that true communication is understanding one another. Because what you're seeing nowadays, in so many words, is that, and that's what the problem is that a lot of feminine energy, they don't understand the masculine energy. There's a miscommunication, and it goes vice versa. And that's pretty much what it comes down to, and that's what she was talking about. And then Steve Harvey asked her, there was another couple, whatever the fuck, you know, that's been engaged, I think, for probably, I don't know. They've been together for 10 years and engaged for 5 years. And, you know, he's trying to get married. You know, and her answer was, why are you dragging me into this? You know what I'm saying? She said, yo, why are you dragging me into this? And that was wisdom right there. Because what she was saying, truly saying is, you got to find out what works for you. Now, understand this. Steve Harvey's whole career took off on trying to tell you what you need to do. Whereas you have to define what that is for yourself. But for you to do that, you got to know yourself. Do you see what I'm saying? You got to know yourself to know what you want. Do you see what I'm saying? There's all type of fucking relationship out there. You know, you have your... I don't know, open type of relationship. You have your closed relationship. You have, you know what I'm saying, whatever the fuck, your fucking relationship, whatever the fuck it is, right? But all of that has to do, there's no, you got to define what works for you. But for you to do that, there's a certain amount of understanding of self that you got to have. And that's what she was really talking about here. Like, why are you dragging me into their bullshit? They got to figure it out. We were talking about understanding, right? So the best advice really is work on yourself. Because by you working on yourself, self-love allow you to love other people, but most importantly, allow you to open up and understand others too. So that's truly what she was saying. But of course, Steve Harvey at that point, she's because we're not here for the real shit. You got to understand that. We here. You got to have the battle between the sexes, meaning the feminine energy and the masculine energy got to go at it. That's what brings that's why nobody cares about the truth, right? So we're looking for that drama. We need that smoke. And he got it for you. Do you see what I'm saying? And to be honest too, hey, I mean, he's sticking to his gun because that's what got him there, into national television now because of his popularity. It's a popularity game. Hit your like, and hit the subscribe button, hit like. Do you see what I'm saying? All that shit. Now, I know for me personally, as I'm stepping into this game, I had to understand. Okay, what am I? How do I want to be seen? Okay, well, let's be motherfucker. Subscribe if you want, nigga. You know what? That's fine. You know what I mean? If it's for you, it's gonna be for you. But anyway, it's not a popularity contest. That's what I'm trying to say. Why the fuck was I talking about that? I was talking about that to get back to, and she was funny too. She was so cute. She was so cute, because apparently there's a 3 years differences between the two of them, right? So I guess the gentleman was 103 and she was 100, and they met. The guy was 19, right? So when Steve Harvey asked her, so that must have mean, and she was like, I can't count to do too good. But do you see what I'm saying? It's that type of elevation, and just by her response, you could see the wisdom. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, come on. You can see the wisdom. But most importantly, you can also understand why she was saying, why are you dragging us into this shit? But anyway, I think, it was necessary to talk about, because every now and then you run into some real shit, but you got to be able to understand how to spot it. But now the importance of understanding the masculine and the feminine energy, that's how you maintain or you create a healthy relationship. Do you see what I'm saying? And I'll give you guys a perfect example, right? And I'm just going to use myself because, I had to overcome that. I had to open up my eyes to the feminine energy and understand the intelligence, that what the people are calling emotional intelligence, there's a fucking intelligence in it. So don't think women are not intelligent by saying that they're emotional. If you're saying that, you don't understand their emotional intelligence. That's truly what it comes down to. So now we're talking about two type of fucking intelligence here. Now or what you may call the practical or the intellect intelligence. I mean, for lack of better terms, I just don't see how to label it yet. I guess it'll come to me as I'm, talking here. And that's what the active intelligence is. Do you see what I'm saying? We tend to be logical. It has to be this. It has to be that. It's 1 + 1 = 2. And there's nothing wrong with that. All I'm saying is you got to be open. If you're going to deal with a female, you got to understand her, dog. How the fuck, and vice versa too. If you're going to be with a nigga, well, you would want to understand them, right? Unless if you're being with yourself, what would be the point then? right? And I'm just gonna use this simple example to showcase something here that I had to learn, right? And I know a lot of you guys done it, and I'm gonna talk about it, you'll see, right? So I remember, there was I mean, of course, in my last relationship, right? And I remember, like when we used to go out, sometimes, I remember this one time, and then she told me, okay, she wanted to wear, she had two shoes, and then she was like, okay, you would like me to wear the black one or the red one? Guess what was my answer? Because I didn't understand the fucking feminine intelligence or the emotional intelligence. First of all, this is what you need to understand. And of course, my dumb ass was, hey, whichever one you like. That was dumb as fuck. Now, a lot of you motherfuckers would think like, and this is not to attack you, because shit. If anything, I'm attacking myself. Well, I'm not even attacking myself because what I'm saying? We won here. You know what I'm saying? We made up. We good. We learned the lesson. Now we understand how to move appropriately. But what I'm trying to say to you is, like, do you think she's asking you really what shoes to wear because she doesn't know which one she likes? Do you see what I'm saying? That's a lot of us not thinking logically, even if we think we're thinking logically. So our logic is missing that emotional shit that would allow you to see things in a broader perspective, and that's what the feminine energy understands. So when you see her acting crazy and all that shit, there's a big intelligence behind it. Once you get it, though, you got to get it. So the average man, which I was at that time, you would probably be like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to help you out. I'm doing the best here. Meaning I want to please you, and so I'm allowing you to actually choose. But that's not what she was looking for. And if you allow her to choose, that's because you don't understand the masculine energy. And you don't understand why she even came to you. See, if she was not with you, she would activate. So you got to understand, by her asking you, she's not looking to activate her masculinity and her. She wants to, that's why she got you. Now you become that activation, that live activation for her. And vice versa too. If you're going to be a masculine energy, you don't want to be a feminine, you don't want to activate your feminine energy at all. Why would you want to be with a fucking bitch? It doesn't make sense. So for us to complement each other, you got to understand how this whole thing works. Now, what I should have said at that time was, you know what? I like the black one. But if you feel like you want to wear the red one, that's fine too. Because all she was asking from me is that she wanted me to be a man, meaning to be a leader. The masculine energy you lead. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So the shit test that she was, it's not even a shit test. That's her being a feminine energy. That's why she got to go through you. You are her leader. And you got to understand that. And you do see what I'm saying? So it's all about the way that you do it. So granted, by me saying, if I would have said, I want the black one, I would show my leadership, but yet at the same time, but if you feel like, because here's what you got to understand about the feminine energy too, and I talked about this. And here's something else too. The masculine energy does not understand. You don't argue with a fucking female. You don't do that. Or you don't tell her, oh, you said, you know what I'm saying? Because I know that shit happened to a lot of us, and that shit happened to me too. Like the bitch will tell you you tell the baby, do you want to go to the movies? Yes. And then 5 minutes later, shit, fuck it, make it 2 minutes later. She said no. Well, nigga, you just said you wanted to go, and then, do you see what I'm saying? You know, that's why you can, because you got to understand the feminine energy and the way it acts. It's spontaneous. Whatever she tells you, she's not lying, nigga. In that moment, that's how she feels. Well, 2 minutes later, she feels different. Now, it's that's when you come in as the masculine energy to make her feel how you want her to feel. Or try to understand why she pretty much switch up on you. Because everything she does, there's a reason behind it. That's that emotional intelligence. You got to understand it. So it's very important for you to understand how the feminine energy works. You know, as a masculine energy, but first of all, you got to start with yourself. Do you see what I'm saying? By understanding that. So at this point, you know what I'm saying? So like, then you wouldn't have to tell her, well, you said this, you know, you don't know what you want. That's the one thing you don't want to say, never, ever want to say to a fucking feminine energy, nigga. You don't know what you want. She knows exactly what the fuck she wants. She changed her mind, and she'll let you know that too, nigga. That's what I wanted. I don't want that anymore. Now, us on the masculine side, we tend to stick to our guns. And sometimes you got to go with the flow too, nigga. Do you see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And she's for shit. Do you see what I'm saying? But you have to learn these things. And I feel like these are some of the things that are not being talked about. You know, whenever I'm listening to people talking about relationship, or do you see what I'm saying? But for the most part, you know, love is not even included in the shit that I'm talking about. You know, it's domination, it's power tripping. Niggas are power tripping like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Bitches too, obviously. Do you see what I'm saying? Instead of, but a lot of that has to do with you not being in alignment with yourself. Do you see what I'm saying? And because at that point, so let me go back to the point that I was making before. You know, if she has you as a masculine energy, you cannot choose what type of shoes she should wear. Why the fuck would she have you? Why the fuck would you be in her life? No, granted, I get it. I get it. You try to be nice. I get it. I've done it. You know, because, you know, nigga, I get you. But what you don't understand is, you don't understand the masculine energy and the feminine energy, the interaction. I'll give you another one better. Because I remember, like, even with my mom and dad, like, I used to be like, yo, nigga, like, why you always got to get this nigga opinion? Not that I was against my dad, but yo, you want to do this, just go ahead and do it. That's how I was thinking. But the bottom line was that, but the way you would answer, I got your dad, I got a man. So in other words, what she was telling me, why would I have to activate my masculinity when I got a masculine man around me? It doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and vice versa. And that's why you'll see too, you hear it all the time, but they never give you the, I guess, the mystery of it. Like, they always tell you, like, female love alpha male. But what you're talking about when you're talking about an alpha male, it's a mature masculine energy. That's all it is. That's why I don't subscribe to the fucking alpha shit. But anyway, I have a whole other reason why I don't. But anyway, you know, because that feminine energy will always look for that mature masculine energy. That's just the way it goes. And it's vice versa. You know, that's why a lot of women don't understand too. The feminine, that's where, you know, if you remember your grandmother, whoever, like those older women, they used to tell you, child, he's a man. He's going to do what man does. She's telling you that not because she's weak. No, not at all. Far from it. She's only saying that to you because she understands, yo, what aroused the fucking masculine energy is the feminine fucking energy. That's what arouses us. And it doesn't matter if we are in a relationship or not. When you see a feminine energy, a feminine who's feminine, yo, every niggas we're gonna be like, God damn. Now we may choose not to act on it, or you may choose to act on it. It doesn't make a difference. You're gonna feel that motherfucker. Like, that's just us. You know what I'm saying? Like when you see a hot chick, especially, and if she's fully in her femininity, because a full masculinity or full or mature masculine energy will not. I mean, if you're not in your femininity, it's not gonna work. See, that's what they're not telling you. That's why you'll never see what they call an alpha male being with a tomboy bitch and shit. It's not gonna happen. Or maybe a overly dominated type of bitch. It's not gonna work. Not because he's intimidated by it, but there's no attraction. It doesn't attract it. So a lot of you feminine who think men are intimidated by you know that no, they're nah, bitch. No, you missed it. But I understand you gotta cover up, your ego, or for lack of better terms, you gotta cover up your fucking ego. You gotta protect yourself. Then now it's not you, it's them. I get it. But no one is fucking intimidated by no fucking, it's just not attractive. That's what that shit is. It's not attractive. And I'm not saying this to put it, you know what I'm saying? The more you trying to act like a nigga, meaning you're not fully in your feminine energy, the more unattractive you're going to be to a masculine energy. That's just the way it is. I'm just giving you the mystery side of it, meaning the understanding what you don't see. And vice versa too. And I know a lot of females never understand, like, why? But if he loves me, why is he not? I mean, every man is different. However you choose to act on it is different. But that reaction, we're going to have it. Because that's what arouses us. It's that feminine energy. It arouses us like a motherfucker. It arouses us like a motherfucker. So therefore, you could be with your girl walking down the street, and you see it all the time. Then you're looking at another girl. It's not a lack of intimacy. It's not that the motherfucker don't love you. And a lot of men try to say it to you too. But you don't understand it. Now, a fully mature feminine energy, meaning she understands who she is and understanding how to deal with the masculine energy, that's when your grandmother would tell you, child, listen, a man's going to be a man. But what she's truly telling you, that's how the masculine energy operates. Do you see what I'm trying to say to you? That has absolutely nothing to do with, a lack of intimacy. None of that shit. None of that shit. So to have a healthy relationship, it's important for both masculine energy and the feminine energy to have an understanding of, how do we express ourselves, how do we come together, because we complement each other. Do you see what I'm saying? So with no further ado, I mean, with all of that being said, I think I'm going to leave it there. I was a little bit inspired to talk about that because I don't know, what the fuck was I think there was something I was watching. For some reason, it's not coming to me now, and I felt like, there was a lack of understanding. We're not really talking about or embracing those differences, because those differences is what actually brings us together. Do you see what I'm saying? And not, the more you're trying to act like a man, listen, you're going to have, and you're not going to love the men anyway. What people are calling, like, the shrimps, the sinks, the beta male, whatever the fuck, it's simply a masculine energy who's not in touch with his masculine energy. When we're talking about the yin and the yang, this motherfucker's more in touch with his feminine energy. You know, there's no balance. So now he's becoming like you, and you'll never like a man like that. You'll go with him because you having domination over him, but you never like him. He's not gonna arouse you. So do yourself a favor, man. Get into your feminine energy. Don't try to be like a man. Don't do it. You're hurting yourself. However the fuck you want to put it. Now, if you want to talk in terms of security, now you're not getting your heart, you know what I'm saying, broken and none of that shit. Yeah, but you're still going to be unhappy. How do you want it? It's like you lose. You're dominating over a motherfucker that you don't fucking even love, or who's not giving you that, he's not arousing you because you need that masculine fucking energy to do so. And then, you know, everything else is suck, man. Yeah, it's a lose-lose. You know, and the security wouldn't do shit for you. And that's why, you know, when you see another nigga, you always, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. You know, you're probably gonna have them for the financials. You know, get your money. All right, shit, nigga. Get your money. But you're not gonna be happy, babe. What you doing, honey? Don't do this to yourself. Don't cheat yourself, ladies. Love yourself. You hear me? You're cheating yourself, man. Treat yourself. You hear me? But in order for you to do that, it's important for you to understand the feminine energy. I mean, shit, nigga, I would love to see the feminine energy come out and be on some feminine shit. Just like I was saying, show me how important nurturing is, because it is. The fuck? You don't have a home without a woman. We're not talking about a house here. We're talking about a home. You don't see how important that is? That's because you've been conditioned to look at these things as lesser than. And I'm not saying you should become a traditional in a sense, or you shouldn't work. You could do all of that shit, but you just gotta learn how to balance it. Just like just like myself, you know, I have the long hair. Those are feminine traits, and besides, I am a fucking divine feminine anyway. Do you see what I'm saying? Like guys like Prince, you know, Michael Jackson, who was in touch with their creativity, with their artistic side. You know what I'm saying? That self-expression. All of that is fucking feminine. That emotional shit. It comes with a lot of fucking intelligence. You gotta be out of your fucking mind to think, like, that's why when you're saying women are emotional, I mean, I get what you're saying, but there's a lot of intelligence in their emotions. And what you call in a shit test, and that's why they always shit test you too. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, I wouldn't really call it a shit test because that's part of their nature. Do you see what I'm saying? So now I wouldn't say, you know, like when, you know, whoever I was dating at that time that asked me, okay, should I wear the black shoes or the red shoes? She was shit testing me. You know, it was in her, you know, because now she didn't want to activate that masculine energy in her. So she came through me. Meaning asking me because she's looking to please me. So imagine somebody's looking to please me, and now I'm telling you, you know, please yourself. No, she's looking to please me. And when you in touch with that, you know what I'm saying, you understand that. Now then your approach to women is going to be different, and you're going to have more of a successful relationship too. In terms of, that's why the gender, you cannot eradicate the fucking gender or the gender role for that matter. And that's the most, I think, potent or most vital thing that gay relationship showed us or showed me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you know, because you love the same sex. Why you gotta act like a guy, or why you gotta act like a girl? So you may look at it as being confused, as being like chaotic, but that's where the genders comes in. We're not talking about dick and pussy here. Do you see what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. You already know it's always a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Check out the Patreon, become a tribe member. Okay, let's build this community. And let's keep pushing. I'm pushing. You pushing, baby. Blah. I shan't, Mali.